Welcome. In this video, we're exploring how two personality types may interact in a romantic relationship through the lens of MBTI personality theory. We'll look at the strengths they might naturally bring out in each other, the challenges they may encounter, and the ways they can grow together. Keep in mind that MBTI describes personality preferences, not fixed rules, and it can't predict whether a relationship will succeed or fail. Every person is unique, and every relationship is shaped by far more than personality alone. Think of this as a tool for self-understanding and reflection, rather than absolute truth. With that in mind, let's get started. INTJs often approach life with a long-range perspective, naturally looking beyond the present to imagine how ideas, systems, and plans could evolve. Guided by introverted intuition, they enjoy identifying patterns and forming clear internal visions of the future. Their supporting extroverted thinking helps transform those ideas into structured plans and practical action. In relationships, they often value independence alongside genuine commitment, appreciating partners who enjoy thoughtful conversations and respect personal space. Rather than expressing emotions through constant reassurance, they may demonstrate care by solving problems, planning for the future, and investing in shared goals. While they can appear reserved, they often form deep attachments with people who appreciate their curiosity, loyalty, and thoughtful approach to building a meaningful life together. ENFPs often approach life with a sense of possibility, eagerly exploring new ideas, experiences, and connections that spark their imagination. Guided by extroverted intuition, they naturally see multiple paths forward and enjoy discovering unexpected opportunities wherever they look. Their supporting introverted feeling helps them remain connected to their personal values, encouraging them to pursue relationships and experiences that feel meaningful and authentic. In relationships, they often express affection through curiosity, encouragement, and enthusiastic support for the people they care about. They usually enjoy conversations that wander into dreams, possibilities, and personal growth, creating an atmosphere where ideas can flourish. While they often embrace spontaneity, they also value emotional sincerity and relationships that allow both people to grow as individuals. INTJ and ENFP often notice each other because they approach the world from opposite directions, while still sharing an interest in possibilities, ideas, and personal growth. One partner is typically drawn inward, carefully analyzing patterns before acting, while the other eagerly explores new experiences, conversations, and connections. Although their outward styles differ significantly, they often discover that they enjoy discussing the same kinds of topics. Conversations can quickly move beyond everyday small talk into future plans, philosophy, creativity, psychology, or ambitious goals. That shared curiosity often becomes the foundation of the relationship. The way they arrive at their conclusions, however, is very different. The INTJ tends to filter ideas through introverted intuition, narrowing many possibilities into a single coherent vision. The ENFP, guided by extroverted intuition, naturally expands possibilities, constantly generating new connections and alternatives. Instead of immediately clashing, these differences often create a sense of excitement. Each partner offers a perspective the other doesn't naturally produce. Part 1. First attraction. For the INTJ, the ENFP often appears refreshingly spontaneous. Many INTJs spend considerable time evaluating situations internally before speaking or acting. The ENFP's willingness to explore ideas out loud can feel energizing rather than exhausting, especially when the conversation remains intellectually stimulating. Rather than viewing curiosity as something to organize, the ENFP treats it as something to celebrate. That enthusiasm can encourage the INTJ to explore possibilities they might otherwise dismiss too quickly. The ENFP is often drawn toward the INTJ's calm confidence and depth of thought. While the INTJ may not immediately reveal much emotionally, they often project a sense of purpose and independence that many ENFPs find intriguing. Instead of constantly seeking external validation, the INTJ usually appears comfortable developing their own opinions. For an ENFP who enjoys understanding people beneath the surface, that reserved nature can become something they genuinely want to uncover. Their conversations often become the strongest source of early chemistry. The ENFP introduces unexpected ideas, stories, and perspectives, while the INTJ analyzes them, asks thoughtful questions, and builds them into larger concepts. Many couples with these preferences find that hours can disappear while discussing subjects that neither person expected to become so interesting. Still, early misunderstandings are common. The ENFP may initially interpret the INTJ's emotional restraint as disinterest or distance. Because INTJs often process feelings privately before expressing them, they may not immediately provide the emotional feedback that the ENFP naturally looks for during the beginning of a relationship. Meanwhile, the INTJ may find the ENFP difficult to predict. Their enthusiasm can shift rapidly from one interest to another, and their conversational style may seem scattered compared to the INTJ's structured thinking. The INTJ may wonder whether the ENFP's excitement represents lasting commitment or simply temporary curiosity. Neither interpretation is necessarily accurate. They're often observing different communication styles rather than different levels of affection. As they spend more time together, both partners frequently realize that beneath these surface differences lies a shared appreciation for authenticity, personal growth, and meaningful conversation. That realization often encourages them to look beyond first impressions. Part 2. Strengths together. One of the greatest strengths of this relationship comes from how each partner naturally balances the other's blind spots. The INTJ's introverted intuition tends to focus deeply on long-term direction. They often enjoy creating strategies, identifying patterns, and planning several steps ahead. The ENFP's extroverted intuition approaches life differently, continuously exploring new opportunities that the INTJ may never have considered. Together, this can produce an effective balance between imagination and refinement. The ENFP introduces possibilities. The INTJ evaluates which possibilities have the strongest potential. Instead of competing, their thinking often becomes collaborative. The ENFP prevents the relationship from becoming overly rigid, while the INTJ prevents it from becoming directionless. Decision making can also benefit from this combination when both partners appreciate each other's process. The INTJ often contributes careful analysis and consistency, while the ENFP contributes adaptability and openness to changing circumstances. Together, they may arrive at solutions that are both creative and practical. Communication also has surprising strengths despite their differences. Both personalities usually enjoy discussing ideas more than superficial conversation. They often appreciate learning together, debating respectfully, and exploring complex subjects simply because they enjoy thinking. This shared intellectual curiosity gives them opportunities to remain engaged with one another over many years. Emotionally, they also complement each other in ways that aren't always obvious. The ENFP often encourages emotional openness through warmth, curiosity, and genuine interest in the people they care about. Rather than demanding vulnerability, they frequently create an environment where sharing feelings feels natural. The INTJ contributes emotional stability in a different way. During stressful situations, they often remain calm enough to analyze problems objectively. Their consistency can provide reassurance, especially when the ENFP feels overwhelmed by too many possibilities or emotional uncertainty. Neither approach is inherently better. One tends to nurture through expression, while the other often supports through reliability and problem solving. Their differences also create opportunities for personal growth. The ENFP may gradually become more comfortable following long-term plans instead of relying entirely on inspiration. Watching the INTJ consistently work toward meaningful goals can demonstrate the value of patience and strategic thinking. Likewise, the INTJ may become more comfortable embracing spontaneity and emotional flexibility. The ENFP often reminds them that not every worthwhile experience needs to be optimized before it can be enjoyed. Daily life can reflect this balance as well. The INTJ may naturally organize responsibilities, finances, or future planning, while the ENFP often introduces novelty into routines, encourages new experiences, and helps keep life from becoming overly predictable. Of course, these dynamics vary considerably depending on individual maturity, communication habits, and life circumstances. Not every INTJ or ENFP divides responsibilities in the same way, but many find that their contrasting preferences create opportunities to support one another rather than duplicate the same strengths. Part 3. Biggest challenges. The same differences that create attraction can eventually become sources of frustration. One recurring challenge involves emotional communication. The ENFP often processes emotions by talking through them. Discussing feelings helps clarify what they're experiencing, even if they don't yet have complete answers. The INTJ frequently prefers internal processing first. Before discussing emotions, they often want to understand them privately. As a result, they may appear emotionally unavailable during moments when they're actually working hard to make sense of their feelings. The ENFP may interpret silence as withdrawal. The INTJ may interpret repeated emotional discussion as pressure before they're ready. Neither partner necessarily intends to create distance, but both may unintentionally misunderstand what the other is trying to accomplish. Conflict resolution can follow a similar pattern. The INTJ often approaches disagreements by identifying the underlying problem and proposing logical solutions. Their focus naturally moves toward efficiency and long-term outcomes. The ENFP may initially focus more on preserving emotional understanding and ensuring that both people feel heard before moving toward practical solutions. If these priorities aren't recognized, both partners can leave disagreements feeling misunderstood. The INTJ may wonder why solving the issue wasn't enough, while the ENFP may feel that solving the issue happened before fully acknowledging the emotional experience. Lifestyle differences may also emerge over time. Many INTJs appreciate routines that help them pursue long-term objectives with minimal distraction. They often enjoy predictability because it supports their goals. ENFPs often enjoy flexibility. New opportunities, spontaneous invitations, and changing interests can energize them. These differences don't automatically create conflict, but they can create tension if one partner consistently feels constrained while the other feels overwhelmed by constant change. Decision-making presents another potential challenge. The INTJ's confidence and carefully developed conclusions can sometimes appear inflexible to the ENFP. Meanwhile, the ENFP's willingness to continue exploring alternatives can sometimes appear indecisive to the INTJ. Interestingly, both are often acting from strengths rather than weaknesses. The INTJ values commitment to well-reasoned decisions, while the ENFP values remaining open to information that could improve the outcome. Stress can amplify these differences. When under significant pressure, the INTJ may become increasingly withdrawn, focusing almost exclusively on solving problems while unintentionally neglecting emotional connection. The ENFP, under similar stress, may become scattered, emotionally reactive, or overwhelmed by competing possibilities. Without recognizing these stress patterns, each partner may misinterpret the other's behavior precisely when understanding is needed most. Part 4. Making it work. As the relationship develops, both partners often benefit from expanding their natural preferences without abandoning them. For the INTJ, this may involve recognizing that emotional conversations are not always attempts to solve problems. Sometimes the ENFP is simply inviting connection through shared experience. Offering reassurance, listening patiently, and expressing appreciation more openly can help the ENFP feel emotionally secure without requiring the INTJ to become someone they aren't. For the ENFP, growth may involve recognizing that quiet reflection is not necessarily emotional distance. Allowing the INTJ time to process internally can lead to more thoughtful and meaningful conversations later. Patience often creates better communication than repeatedly seeking immediate answers. Both partners benefit from becoming curious about each other's decision-making process instead of assuming their own approach is naturally correct. The INTJ can appreciate that flexibility sometimes uncovers opportunities careful planning misses. The ENFP can appreciate that structure often creates the stability needed for long-term freedom. Clear expectations also become increasingly valuable. Because these personalities often think several steps ahead in different ways, discussing future goals, finances, responsibilities, and lifestyle preferences openly helps prevent assumptions from replacing communication. This pairing often thrives when both individuals enjoy continuous learning, respect one another's independence, and appreciate intellectual exploration. Relationships built on mutual curiosity tend to keep both personalities engaged long after the excitement of the early stages fades. On the other hand, the relationship may struggle if one partner consistently dismisses the other's natural way of processing information or emotions. If spontaneity is viewed only as irresponsibility or planning is viewed only as rigidity, both partners can begin feeling misunderstood rather than appreciated. The healthiest relationships usually develop when each person sees these differences as complementary perspectives rather than problems waiting to be corrected. In conclusion, an INTJ and ENFP relationship combines strategic focus with imaginative exploration. Their personalities often approach life from different directions, yet they frequently discover common ground through shared curiosity, meaningful conversation, and a genuine interest in personal growth. Those differences can create both exciting opportunities and significant challenges, depending on how well each partner learns to understand the other's perspective. Like any relationship, long-term compatibility depends on far more than personality preferences alone. Communication, emotional maturity, shared values, and a willingness to grow together all play an important role. MBTI can offer a useful framework for understanding common patterns, but every couple brings their own experiences, strengths, and challenges to the relationship. When both partners remain curious about each other's differences instead of trying to eliminate them, the relationship has room to develop into something that reflects the unique individuals involved rather than simply the personality types they identify with.